So let's ask about, I'm going to ask the guides to help us to verify all of those entities that we released. Is that what's been causing all of her nerve issues, the arthritis, the fibromyalgia, or is there anything else that we need to know?
There's a device. I can see it in my
Mhm.
back.
Okay. And does that device happen to be connected to the pain that she's feeling in the spine?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It looks like hard to explain. It looks like something like a it has like hooks and it clamps into the energy field
Hmm.
and then sends electric shocks. It's receiving information. It's
Where is it?
receiving information
Where is it receiving this information from?
from her nerves, from her spine and her nerves.
And so, as it receives the information, what does that do?
It sends it somewhere.
Who is it that placed this device there?
Oh, I feel like I'm making it up, but I hear the grays.
Hmm. And did they place this device there on their own, or did she make any sort of agreement with them?
No, they placed it there on their own.
What is their purpose with this device? Is it just to receive information, or is there any other purpose?
It receives information on being human. It helps them develop their programs on and train.
Hmm.
It records everything.
Was this device placed in this lifetime or another life?
Another life, 5 lives ago.
Okay. And so, what all are the issues that this device is causing for her?
Causes the pain in her back and the electric pain in her spine. It feels heavy. It's very heavy. It's interesting how heavy something non-physical can be.
Hmm. Anything else that we need to know or understand about this device before we remove it?
Hmm. No.
Okay, very good. I'm going to ask for the assistance of Michael to help us to remove this device. But Jessica, I'm going to have you begin to unhook this device from where it's located. Michael and the angels are going to begin to pulse in beautiful white light mixed with the blue light to assist this energy in beginning to release. I want you to just unhook it until we can pull it off of you. Tell me what happens.
I can't get it to let go. It's like it's like a part of me.
Mm-hmm. Let's ask Michael, what do we need to do in order to release this from her today?
Bring in the violet flame.
Beautiful. So I'm going to ask all of the guides, the angels, to assist us in channeling that beautiful violet flame. I want you to see that flame just completely engulfing this device, flowing through all of the hooks, wrapping around it. And we call upon the violet flame to begin to transmute this heavy energy, easily releasing those hooks, dissolving, transmuting, releasing this energy. Violet flame very easily dissolves this device. Tell me what you see or what you feel, what you notice.
You can see that the device is gone, but it's going to take a lot of time to heal that.
Mm-hmm. And so, what color can we use in that area to begin the process of healing?
Blue.
So let's bring in that frequency, that beautiful electric blue energy, very powerful. I'm going to ask Michael to flow in that beautiful blue energy. And let's even place a blue crystal. I want you to visualize that we're placing in that space a blue crystal. We're going to set the intention that as that crystal is placed there where that device was, that it continues the process of healing even after this session until that area is completely healed. As that crystal begins to radiate that healing energy, I'm going to strike the tuning fork. I want you to breathe in and see this energy flowing throughout the body, and especially into the spine and everywhere that it was hooked in. So I'm just going to ask Michael to verify, has that device been completely removed?
The device is removed, but there's wire type, like it's not tendrils, but there was wires. There were energy cords. There are these cords attached to it, but they're in there. We need to dissolve them.
Okay. And can we use white light to do that?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Let's bring in the white light. I'm going to ask the angels and guides to find each one of those wires, those cords, and we're going to send that white light into each one, making sure that all of them are dissolved. Tell me when that's complete.
It's done.
Very good. Let's do a scan of the body. Let's do a scan of the body, and I'm going to ask Michael and the guides to let me know if we have any other entities, earthbounds, AI, attachments, anything else you need to look at today.
There is AI in her blood, in her blood cells.
How did she get that AI in her blood cells?
It was passed through her mother.
Does this AI have any connection with the Lyme disease that she has? Or is that separate?
It's separate.
How is this AI in her blood cells? How has that been affecting her?
It eats her oxygen. It eats the oxygen in the cells so that she can't thrive, so she can't be in her full power.
What is the best way to release this particular AI? Can we transmute it with light? Do we need to scoop it out? What do you suggest?
We need to strain it.
Very good. So I want you to imagine Michael's net, his net of light, and we're going to tighten that net up like it's a fine mesh strainer, but still made of light. And I'm going to ask Michael to take that finely meshed net and we're going to drag it up the body with the intention of collecting and magnetizing all of the AI that is trapped in those blood cells. So I want you to feel that net coming up over the feet, dragging up the legs. All of that AI is going to magnetize right into the center. Feel it coming up over your knees, coming up the thighs. Feel it traveling around the hips. It's going to pass through each energy center, collecting anything that is in those energy centers, any dense, heavy energies. We're also going to collect any other AI, anything that can be placed in the net. Michael can pulse in some of that blue light to help disconnect those energies. Feel it coming up over the hips, up the torso, passing through the sacral and the solar plexus. Feel it coming up over your arms, your hands, collecting all of that energy. Feel that flowing all the way up the body, past the heart, over the shoulders, collecting all those dense, heavy energies. Feel it flowing up into the neck, coming up the head. Going to pass by the third eye. Michael is going to take that fine mesh knit net and pull it up and out of the head, up and out of the crown, collecting all of those energies. And then I'm going to ask Michael to transmute any of those energies with light and take the rest of that AI back to the universe where it belongs. Tell me how that feels or what you notice.
Yeah, I feel much lighter.
Very good. Let's flood in that beautiful white light. I want you to imagine that beautiful healing light flowing into every blood cell. I want you to see it flowing in, cleansing and clearing. So all of those cells are turning bright white and they're nice and clean and clear. And I want you to feel the oxygen returning now into the body. I want you to feel the blood clearing out of all that dense, heavy energy and becoming lighter and brighter. Very good, very good. So while that continues to heal, let's ask about the Lyme disease. Where did that come from? Why is it that she brought that into this life with her?
She wanted to be a healer. So she learned how to heal herself. She almost didn't make it, but she's done well. She's done well. She has taken on the family's trauma, and the trauma, after not being transmuted for so long, turns into illness. And when it gets to a certain point where there's so much trauma, it looks like Lyme disease, because every single system and organ is affected. It's like an overloading of the system of trauma, and you have to transmute it. You have to heal it bit by bit and turn it into light. You have to release it and process it. Most people don't realize that that's what's going on.
So are you saying that it's not actually Lyme disease, that it's the trauma that mimics Lyme disease? Or
What happens is the trauma being a vibration, after not being transmuted and dealt with and healed and processed and released, it gets trapped in the body systems. And depending on where that trauma is, where they've chosen to take it on from ancestors or past life, wherever that trauma is held, then it solidifies and solidifies and solidifies, and then it looks like illness. Your world will call it illness. It's not, it's trauma. As it is transmuted, as the emotional, she's seen this, as the emotional work is done, then the symptoms go away, the illness goes away. She no longer has thyroid problems because she worked on, it was her mother's trauma, but she's worked on it, and now she doesn't have problems with it anymore, and that will keep happening. And she's here to teach people that, how to heal themselves like that.
Very good. Very good. And so, any additional healing that she needs today to help her with all of these things that she's been experiencing, the nerve pain, or have we released most of that for her?
She needs to be wrapped in a blanket of light, just kind of swaddled by light.
Let's do that for her now. Just asking all of her beautiful guides and angels to take that beautiful blanket of light, wrapping it around her very, very tightly, tucking it in, making sure she's completely enclosed in that blanket. And we will set the intention that she continues to receive all of the healing, to release the pain, to help the body heal. And we'll ask the angels and the guides to continue to wrap her tightly in that blanket till all of those issues completely released. So we just want to double check because she said the pain in the center of her back is just absolutely intolerable. Have we released everything that was connected to that pain?
There still seems to be something there, but I can't tell what it is. It's just a denseness. It's like a knot.
And if we put a bubble of white light around that knot, do you feel that that would help to transmute that energy?
That will help. She also has work to do on standing up for herself.
Very good. And she's wanting to know, she's been using kratom to assist her with the pain. Is the pain going to change for her after this session? Will she still feel it? Will it be less intense? What can she
It's
expect?
definitely going to be less intense. Her stomach issues will be much better. Much better. That spirit of Patrick was causing great discomfort for a very long time. She's going to have a lot easier time with her digestion. The pain in her body, she still has things to transmute. So she has work to do. And it's okay that she's using kratom while she works through it. There will come a time where she won't need it anymore. More than anything, she needs to give herself grace and mercy for seeking relief. She is hard on herself and feels like she needs to have it all fixed now. And she needs to understand that this is her journey, this is her path, this is what she chose, and she's not alone in it. And it's okay that she takes something to help. It's not causing her any harm unless she thinks it's causing her harm. So she needs to work on her mindset about it.
Very good. So she wonders, why has life been so hard for her? Why did she have such a tough life to start with?
Well, she's stubborn. She's had a lot of experience. She knew that this lifetime on Earth was special, that there was a lot of work that could be accomplished in this life compared to other lifetimes because of just the energy happening on the planet. So it was an opportunity to really overachieve. And she also had karma to work out. Before beings come here, they have a detachment, and the souls will pick situations not knowing the full ramification and outcome and what that's going to feel like in a physical body, because they're no longer in a body. So much like how a mother will forget what childbirth feels like and say they want to have another baby, it wasn't that bad, and then they're in it and they're in so much pain. That is how it is for souls before they incarnate. And so sometimes it happens that while they are in it, they feel regret for choosing what they've chosen. She's surrounded. She has so much support. We knew she would need it. She's doing big things. She's not alone. But the pain is great.
And so she wonders, should she take this experience that she's had in this life and should she share it? Or will that just be connecting her even more to that energy?
It depends on the way that she shares it. If she shares it from a place of victim stance, then it will reactivate the trauma. She could get stuck in it. If she shares it from a place of being through it, a lot of healers, a lot of people on the planet that are on the healing journey, they're afraid to talk about their pain. They're afraid, they think that if they talk about their pain, that they're going to manifest it, because people are learning about manifestation now. And so they don't quite understand the mechanisms of it, and they get really rigid. And then they're afraid to express themselves or speak up or share what's going on in their experience because they don't want to manifest it. But in an act of doing that, they're actually doing an act of self-betrayal because they're denying their experience. So it's all based on where it comes from and the intention, and not getting caught up in the poor me. And also on the other end, not getting caught up in the I'm better than anyone because I'm not there anymore. So it is a balance to be had. But she came here to help people through these things. That's why she went through so much. It would be silly for her not to share it.
And so
she wants to play it small. She wants to play small. She feels like it's safer for her to play small, but she'll never be able to do it. She would get depressed it would be a backslide for her because it's against her purpose and what she came here to do. So she just needs to let go of the idea of being small. She is a very bright, very, very bright light. She is a very old soul. She has a lot of experience and she channels energy and she channels messages. She hears us. She works with us on a constant basis. So she needs to really, her work is finding acceptance for her, who she is, and that she came here to do these things. It's not ego for her to find that she's important.
Talk to her a little bit more about her purpose because she feels a little conflicted. As you mentioned, she has dreams of creating that sanctuary or possibly just staying at home. So, what would you say is her highest and greatest path?
She came here to spread the light of healing, and how she chooses to do that is really up to her. We are in support of Misfit Sanctuary. So she's in fear that she won't have the energy to do what is called, but she's also learning how to live present in each moment and manifest in each moment. And so really her discomfort and her confusion comes from when she's trying to live out of the moment and create out of the moment. It's in the moment when we're connected to the creation and source. And so when she's in the moment and she's doing what is called of her, everything unfolds. It will unfold. We're here to support the success. This is a time to shift. A lot of people have gotten the message to create communities like this. There are quite many people who have received the download. This is a part of creating the new earth. So we're in support of it. She just needs to be remembering to stay in the moment and trusting the process and that it will unfold for her, and not trying to, as her mother would say, put the cart before the horse.
Very good, very good. And so, as she possibly moves in to a different role, she feels like she has this aversion to technology and social media and is wondering, where does that come from?
It's partly from trauma. She needs to heal the trauma from her dad, her stepfather. She feels abandoned, and him using the technology was the way he abandoned her. So she needs to process that. And also, she's here to create community, in-person community, and there's a part of her that knows that. So she's getting stuck in between what the world looks like right now and what her guides are telling her. And her business has been going well, just word of mouth. So it would be better for her to do in-person things to move forward, and she doesn't have to do much social media. It is not necessary. The right people will come. She needs to do what brings her joy. If it brings her joy to share something, then that is great, because the joy will outweigh the negative charge of the technology and the entities behind the technology. But if she is sharing out of obligation, then that is stealing her power. So again, it goes to perspective. She has to work on her perspective and only share from a place of power. Many people are sharing on technology because they're lonely or because they feel like they have to, there's no other way, but that is draining their power, because there is another way. It's just those, you have to do the work energetically and emotionally so that you can be sharing the other ways, be in person. The world is a place where everyone is afraid of everyone, and so everyone is isolating, and people need to come together physically more, and less on these devices from a place of powerlessness. Again, if someone is sharing on a device because it brings them so much joy to create this content to make people laugh or to connect, then that's wonderful because their own energy is intact. But if they're getting on because they're bored and they don't want to use their creativity, or if they're getting on because they're lonely and they don't want to do the work to go meet people or work through their fear of meeting people, then that energy of the media will drain them. And it can also be a trap, because some people will start to share on social media because it's fun and they're making connections, and then the entities step in and start to drain them, and then they're getting negative feedback, and then people expect them to post every day, and then they're tired, and then that's how the entities get in and drain their energy. So it's very, very important for people to understand that your only interface with these social media apps when you're in your full power. And if you are not in your full power, then there is work to do. Don't pick it up. It's a bypass. You're lonely because you need to work on your relationship with self and source and others. Don't reach for the device first.
Very good. That is incredible information. Thank you for that. So earlier you said that she's an old soul, and that's what she wanted to ask. Where is she from originally? What can you tell her?
Oh, she's had thousands of lives. Thousands of lives.
Mm.
She's done so many lives. This is her most exciting one. She's having a really good time. She just doesn't realize it.
Does she have a connection with any star being groups that you could share with her?
She's connected with the Lyrans. She's a very old soul. She lived a life. She's lived many lives. She's lived so many lives. So her memories are not faulty, but that's not her only origination.
She said she's had dreams of being a Lemurian princess. What can you tell her about that?
She was royalty. She was high on the council. It's not a princess, so to speak, but there is a council, and she served high on the council. She watched over everybody. She was a warrior. She's a warrior of light. When Lumeria was attacked, she was there.
Very good. Is there anything that you can share with us about that time? Anything she would be interested to know more about?
That's also why she has a fear of the technology, because between Lumeria and Atlantis had abused their power with technology. And so it was to the demise of that culture. It was very peaceful, Lemurians, very peaceful. They just wanted to live their lives and be close to source. They really weren't too far off from humans today as far as a desire to get closer to source. They just had more information about what source was.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. She's wondering about autism and ADHD and if they're just, that's just people who have a higher vibrational, or if they're just a higher vibrational being in a human body, if that's why they have those struggles, or what creates that in a person.
This is a download we gave her. That is it. That is what is happening. And the reason why it will vary is that some higher vibrational beings have come into the body and they have not fully anchored into their body. And so there's discord, they're half in, half out. And then also on top of that, they picked other traumas. And then there's karma. And so for some people, it will be compounded. But they're here to help people shift into the new paradigm because they cannot function any other way. They are not able to shift their programming to participate in the toxicity that is on this planet right now. They're required to come together to create their own space and sanctuaries and ways of living. And as the rest of the world sees them doing that, then the world will see that there is something to the way that they're living, because they'll be happy, they'll be creative, they'll be free, they'll be healthier. And the parents of people who have autistic children need to understand that it is them that needs to dive deeper into understanding the autistic person's experience and developing empathy and seeing the world through their eyes rather than expecting the autistic person to change and become a part of the world. Because the more that is expected, the deeper the trauma is created, and it will get worse.
Very good. And so, along with that, she just wanted to know, does it have anything to do with any gene modification that's been made by the Greys?
There are many people on Earth now that have gene modification with the Greys, but it is not connected.
Okay.
They can happen simultaneously, but one does not affect the other. It's not a punishment or a sickness or a byproduct of something going awry. It is a program of a higher vibrational being put in a super dense world that doesn't function on any level the way that they do.
Is there anything today that she needs to know about her son? who's autistic.
That he's come to help her heal. He'll help her heal a lot of her codependency issues and to not take things personally. And that he's going to be okay. She needs to know he's going to be okay. He's also very, very bright. He's going to bring a lot of brightness into the world. Both of her children are light workers.
Very good. Very good. What does she need to know about mothering and supporting her boys?
Well, she knows. She knows. She needs to listen to herself. She knows that the best thing for her to do is to be there for them. And they're to understand that they're going to go through painful experiences. And it's not her job to take the pain away. It's her job to help them navigate their own pain. It's not her job to decide for them what they need to do. And the name of the game isn't to avoid pain. It's to teach our children how to find the light through the pain, because that isn't part of the experience. And so we do our children a disservice when we try to keep them from pain or to avoid certain things, because that pain that they experience will help them see who they are. So she just needs to support them and allow them to make their decisions and be with them whatever happens, understanding that they have their own purpose and cycle.
She wonders, they feel a bit lonely sometimes, and she wonders if she should continue to homeschool or if it would be good to send them back to school for their loneliness. What would you suggest?
She can let them make their own decision. They have to live their own consequence. They're not babies. If she doesn't let them make their own decision, then they'll grow to resent her for the situation that they didn't get to experience. And they'll romanticize the experience they didn't get to have and blame her for the loneliness. Whereas if she lets them go to school, there's a chance they could thrive, that they could love it, that they could make lots of friends and have a great time. Or there's the chance that they could be miserable and hate it and decide that they want to homeschool again, and then she can just take them back and homeschool. It's not a lifelong decision being made. It's a decision that you can shift again and again. But if she doesn't let them have the experience of going to school, then it's going to cause problems in her relationship. So she needs to let them go to school, even if she thinks it's a bad idea. There is a place where she needs to practice trust and faith in everything that she's taught them. If we spend our whole lives teaching children, how to navigate the darkness and choose the light and make decisions and make choices, but then we don't allow them while they're children to exercise those choices, then how will they learn? How will they practice? Until then they are adults, and then they're out in the world, and then they're making harmful decisions for the first time. And then that has graver consequences than if they make the decisions as children. She's a good mom.
Very good. Very good. She had a near death experience last year. She was in respiratory distress and feels like she's not getting enough breath in. What what can you share with her about that? What's happening there?
That's related to her gut issues. It's
Okay.
it's her it's her um, body's response to food she's eating and things she's ingesting. It's triggering reactions. It's like a allergic reaction.
Anything specifically she needs to avoid or anything you can share with her?
Well, it may be much better now that the entity has been removed.
Okay. Wonderful. Very good.
It is also, there's also, it helps her make better decisions. She has a tendency to choose foods and things out of comfort, even though she knows they're not good for her. So sometimes these reactions, it's like a mild redirection of what not to do, because, you know, guides can give messages and give messages and give messages, but if the person doesn't listen, then we've got to amp up our attempts to get the person to listen. And so she, she had used cannabis for a long time, and it was good for her for a while, and then we were telling her for years that it was no longer her medicine and she would use it out of comfort. And so now when she ingests it or smokes it, she feels this breathing issue. And it's the same thing with certain foods, because as we go through this ascension, we are eating less dense. And so there are certain foods or chemicals that are going to cause her to have these reactions as a redirection to not eat those things. And, really, if she just listens, then she won't have these issues.
Very good. Very good. Are there any final messages today? Anything else that you'd like to share with her?
To know that she is speaking to spirit, and she's downloading and channeling. She doubts the messages that she gets, and she needs to have more confidence that this is happening and that it's safe to bring through the messages.
Wonderful. And is she doing everything that she needs to keep her energy protected? Or do you have any additional suggestions for her?
She needs to surround herself with white light more. She does a lot with rose water and rose and sage. She does a lot of incense, but she needs to do more actual energetic work with surrounding herself with light. She needs to put her armor on every morning.
Wonderful. Very good.